the whole premise of Bitcoin is that there's no government that can take away your right to transact using it. There's no government that can inflate the value of it away. And it was born out of, after the 2008 crisis.
Oh, so it was in reaction to the recession.
Well, and to the fact that it was financial institutions effectively completely manipulating the system that ultimately caused the crash. And that was sort of the birth of that there needed to be a sort of decentralized, non-controlled by one entity means of transaction and financial sovereignty.
That sounds awesome. And that makes me think about the potential humanitarian side of Bitcoin and the idea that it is decentralized. I think of, we hear about a lot of third world countries that are in crisis with their governments and sort of stealing the money of the people. Could you speak on that, like Bitcoin's potential?
Yeah. So if you look at anywhere from places like Venezuela, Argentina, Lebanon, or for example, if I'm a female programmer in Afghanistan, as a female in Afghanistan, I'm not legally allowed to open a bank account, but I can get a job. However, I have to go through my husband in order to get paid for that. But with Bitcoin, you can get paid directly on your phone. So, or for example, in a country like Venezuela or what's happening in Lebanon, or like I said, Argentina right now, you have a government that's effectively inflating citizens' savings and wealth away. And there is no real alternative for store of wealth outside of the traditional monetary system. But Bitcoin is that sort of outside option of their current government and financial infrastructure to maintain wealth and to store wealth that your government can't seize from you or can't, inflate away.
Wow.
So that's some of sort of like the fundamental freedom and sovereignty. There's also about 1.8 billion people in the world who don't have access to formal identity. And without formal identity, so like a birth certificate or a driver's license, you can't really participate in the financial ecosystem, right? Like you can't open a bank account unless you have some form of identification. So there's 1.8 billion people who are operating on the fringes of society. And what Bitcoin, tools like Bitcoin do is they give them a medium of being able to transact, build wealth, build credibility, and quite frankly, increase their ability for financial autonomy, right? And outside of tools like digital assets and Bitcoin, there's no real options, right? So that's sort of some of the fundamental principles about why this technology is so disruptive.